Welcome back to my channel. This morning I'm going to do a ship with me video, and also I'm going to show you what it's like to start photographing all of these items that are lining my office floor. So stick around for that. I am going to share with you some of my techniques that I use to package up some of these items that I'm shipping out today. And also we're going to do a little photography together. I'm going to show you my setup and show you how I group things together and what techniques I use to take photos for listing on eBay and Poshmark. First up, these Stuart Weitzman heels sold. And one thing I do with shoes is I put tissue paper inside of the toes. I think presentation means a lot. I like when things look nice when they're delivered to me. My husband Brian works at a clothing store, our friend's clothing store, 2 mornings a week early before they open, and he helps with unpackaging the merchandise that comes in. He will bring me home randomly just boxes of this tissue, and I love it. I've used it several times in the things that I've packaged up, and I'll show you that. I put it in this 12 by 18 poly bag that I get on Amazon, and also use these stickers that I buy on Amazon. And I'm funny about it, but I like to match my sticker and make it look nice with whatever's inside. So white sticker goes on. And that same tissue paper that he brings home to me also is used to line the boxes of things that I mail out. So be sure and do that. Use some sort of packing. I think, again, it looks better. The next is this travel handbag. This one sold rather quickly. I tucked the strap inside and packaged that up with a matching blue sticker. I love selling belts. I think if I were to quit reselling and retire, I would choose, of all the things I sell, I would choose belts, women's vintage silk scarves, maybe books. These things to me are so easy to find, easy to store, easy to ship, cost next to nothing. Both of these came out of a fill-a-bag sale. This is a men's belt that sold. And again, with that tissue paper, this has a very large buckle, silver buckle. I will package that up with the tissue paper and put it in these bread bags that I've talked about before. They come from Walmart. I used to be able to get them online. I think during COVID that stopped, so I need to go to Walmart. I buy probably 10 at a time. I think there's 100 in here, and they sell for maybe just over $2. So it's a great deal and fit so many of the things that I ship out. So everything goes in a poly bag before it goes in its shipping bag. Again, here with the tissue paper, I wrap the handles several times and stick it inside to protect it in, again, that Walmart bread bag. This one I sold as an overseas sale, so it works the same. You just ship it to a location in the United States and they take care of the customs and shipping it on for you overseas. And the last item is this vintage book. I only picked it up. You know, I will research it. This one came from the Goodwill outlet. I will research it before, but this one is banged up, beat up, older, yellowed, and I still made a really good profit on this one. So one thing I've talked about also doing is always leave a little corner on the side. So when you package it up this tightly, especially with clothing, package it up this tightly, leave a little corner on the side so someone can snip it and then start running the scissor up so you don't damage the item. And with books, one of the things that I always do is I cover the top and the bottom with cardboard. This box I was going to reshape it for another thing that I had to mail, and it didn't work out very well, but I keep them, and I will show you what I do. I always cut them apart, keep the old ones that you can still use. I am crazy about this electric scissor. One of the best things I've bought for reselling. It works like a charm. So I'll show you cutting apart this box and what I do before I mail out books. I put a piece on the front and the back, and then I'll slide it into a poly mailer. And I just think it goes to show the buyer that you care. I think the more you can do when you ship out things, rather than not package it in the bread bag, not put the cardboard on the sides. I think take that extra couple of minutes and do that. I think the buyer will appreciate your effort, and they'll feel like it comes from a place that cares about their inventory. This is the setup that I have, and I will show you how I do it when I sit on the ground and start to photograph these items. So what I like to do is group like items together and then start photographing things that are white, things that are clear, things that are dark in terms of the hard goods. I have handbags here that I will just use my carpet and this really good light source. A pretty tree. It's fall in Minnesota. I just use the carpet right here. I don't use a backdrop for things that I can put on the floor. Here is my little tote of items that I need to dust off, brush, get rid of the fuzz balls, clean. I've got some hats, some shoes, my head mannequin, and some foam core boards that I just get, 2 black, 2 white, that I just get at the dollar store, and then replace them. They're starting to get a little dented, and then I'll just replace them when need be, but they last me months. Got my foam core boards lined up, and I just set one in front of the other so I can go between them. And I will set it up. I take photos in square mode on my iPhone, so I will just set up the photo in what would be considered, I set up the pictures or the items that I'm going to list in the best square fashion that I can, and then we'll always take several photos going around. And then, of course, on the bottom, this was from one of my fill-a-bag sales. Department 56 is a company local to Minnesota. So first up, I'm going to photograph these tea or coffee cups. You can easily tell what color to use behind glass, so you can see what it looks like with the white. And then when I place the black, it goes away. So you can pretty easily tell, but any clear glass you always want to photograph behind a black background. And with shoes, I always like my cover shot to be with one leaning up against the other. I just think that makes a really good presentation. And then with white golf shoes, you can tell how nicely they pop against the black background. So I just keep switching between the black and the white and keep them behind each other, and it works out great. So I've slid back on the floor away from my studio, and I'm going to take a look at these handbags that I'm going to start photographing. And I think I brought this up in another video, but I found these vintage linens at the Goodwill outlet and they weren't in great shape. So now they become my pretty work cloths and drop cloths. This is a product that is phenomenal. Doc Martens Wonder Balsam. I will treat vintage leather. It'll remove scuffs. It'll restore it. I do it on belts, planners, leather planners, handbags. It's just an amazing product. It has something, it comes with this little sponge, has something in it that is, I don't know, but it is beautiful at bringing back the life to leather, vintage leather. This is what I am also going to photograph today. And the last tip for today, I always like to have on hand easy items to list. Something like this, where you literally just take a photo of the front, a photo of the back, maybe one more photo. Seconds to list. There are days that you don't have time to do this, and eBay is like your needy relative. They like to have you list, and they like to have you add inventory, and sometimes you just don't have the time to add inventory. So I always pick up things that's literally a front and a back picture. I haven't researched these. Maybe I put them together. They came from the last church rummage sale, but it's really nice on days that you want to just do a couple listings but don't have time to have on hand things that are easy, front, back, done.